Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'll be doing my summer book slash DVD slash music haul. So I've been very good at kind of keeping my spending when it comes to books at the minimum this summer. I feel like this year I really focused on tackling my TBR and just kind of getting it down. So these are ones that I was either gifted by my aunt who brought some books, or these are ones that I just kind of picked up along the way that I'm really excited to read in the near future, or they were new releases. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So starting out with music, as you can tell from my Taylor Swift shirt here, but I have Lover by Taylor Swift, and I was so excited for this to be coming out. I was looking forward to it so much, and this was definitely like the highlight, kind of the end to my summer, because the album came out on August 23rd and I started school on August 26th, so it worked out perfectly timing wise. I feel like it was a good end to the summer, so I got all 4 deluxe editions of the album. So I have version 1, version 2, version 3, and version 4. So like I was really excited about this, and I really love the journal entries in here, and I thought they added like a really good touch, and I felt like they were very personal things in here, and the stuff she that's in her journals that she talks about, like her fears and anxieties and kind of her self-doubt that she has. Like I could relate to a lot of that, and I also felt like it made her more personable. So I do have a review of like the album and kind of my vlog experience of the album coming out and all of that stuff, so I will link that up in the cards. But this was one, like I said, I was really excited for. And then moving on to movies, I only have 2 that I purchased over the summer. The first one being Captain Marvel. I saw this in theaters and I really loved it. So I had to pick it up on Blu-ray when it came out in June. I want to say June or July. I was really excited. I saw it by myself, and then I wanted to watch it with like my parents and all that, and my sister was really into it too. I really loved the girl power in here, and then of course I had to pick up Avengers Endgame. I saw this before we went to Barcelona with my brother, because we're going to get spoiled if we don't see it before then, and it was really good. I thought it was a really good conclusion. Me and my parents my family and I are going through the Marvel movies in order, so we're going to hold off watching this until we're all caught up until this, because it won't make sense to them, and I don't want to spoil anything for them. So yeah, definitely happy that I have these 2 Marvel movies to my collection. And then moving on to books, this was one that was actually gifted to us as like a gift from when we went to Barcelona, and the family that we were staying at, because they are my mom's publisher's family, so they are in books, like that is their job, and we're big readers, and that was something we were talking about. So this is a book that they talked to us about, and they have like a cute little message in there as well. But this one is Cathedral of the Sea by I'm not gonna try to pronounce that name, but this is like a historical fiction novel, or like that takes place in Barcelona in the 16th century, I want to say, and it deals with a lot of the historical sites that we saw. Barcelona has so much history, it's such a beautiful city, and so they got us this, and I'm gonna read this over Christmas. That's what I'm planning on reading it, so I think it'll be really interesting, and it has like a good historical twist in it. There's also like a Netflix kind of series based on this book, so yeah, I'm excited to kind of pick this one up around Christmas time, because it is quite big. So I was like, okay, Christmas time, I have a little bit of break from school, it'll be good to read. But yeah, I thought this one was really cute, and the little message in here just makes me teary-eyed every time I read it. So next, these are 2 books that were given to me by my aunt, and she and I kind of have a book club now where we read historical fiction, World War II novels. So these were the first, like these are the 2 that she bought for me that we are going to be reading together. So this is one that we actually just finished reading recently, and it was Resistance Women by Jennifer Chiaverini, which is based off of a true story about the resistance that kind of formed in Germany, and they were called the Red Orchestra. So they kind of had an underground network of kind of smuggling out informations to the Allies that could be used against the Germans to help them lose, like kind of help the Allies win the war, and kind of follows the women's role in that. I'll kind of have more about this in my summary or like my wrap up, but this book wasn't my favorite, but it was still very interesting and I learned a lot like from a historical standpoint. So this is one that was actually on my Amazon TBR wish list, and my aunt actually got this as one of the ones we will be reading, and it is The Things We Cannot Say by Kelly Rimmer, and it's basically a story about these this young couple in Poland, and they're in love, and then they kind of like see like things, like bad things going on with Germany, and then when Germany invades Poland, they kind of get separated and the love of her life goes missing, and it kind of goes off from there. But I'm really interested in this. Like I said, this was one I had my eye on, so I was really happy my aunt picked this up for me. I don't know if when we're going to be reading this, but I'm really excited for it. Like I said, I'm a sucker for historical fiction, and this is one that also kind of has a dual storyline with like past and present, so those ones I really enjoy as well. This was probably my most anticipated read of 2019 fantasy wise, and it is A Vow of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson, and this is the final book in the Dance of Thieves duology, which is the spin-off series for the Remnant Chronicles. But I don't want to spoil too much about like the general plot if you haven't read the Remnant Chronicles, but it takes place 6 years after the events of the last book in the Remnant Chronicles, which I loved. I thought this was an excellent conclusion. I like devoured this. It was so good. So definitely has become like the Remnant Chronicles, like this world is probably one of my favorite fantasy worlds of all time. So when we went back home to Toronto for my sister's graduation, it was around the time when the 20th anniversary editions of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban came out. So when we were there, I stopped by a Chapters and picked up the Gryffindor paperback and hardback editions of the 20th anniversary editions of the Prisoner of Azkaban. So I have these here, and I just have like this little collection going up on this bookshelf over here. But I like these, they're so cute, and I love kind of just building upon my Harry Potter kind of editions that I have, and then I also love the sprayed edges as well. So this is one that I picked up on a whim. I think I had like an add-on item in my Amazon cart, and I needed like $9 more or like $8 for it to be free shipping or for it to ship. So this is one that was in my Amazon wish list book list, and it was only $8, so I was like, that's perfect. So it was Season of the Witch, like the prequel for The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and I was very hesitant about this one because it is like books that are kind of based off of like movies or TV shows. Like I find they aren't as good quality, but I was actually pleasantly surprised by this. I love this show so much. Like I was obsessed with it, and I still am. So I was pleasantly surprised by this. Like it met all of my expectations. It exceeded them actually. So it was really good. So if you're familiar with the show, this takes place like the month leading up to Sabrina's 16th birthday. Kind of leave it off from there. But yeah, I really was pleasantly surprised by this, and there's another one coming out in December, so I'm interested to see how that one plays in with the overall storyline. And lastly, these three books were ones that I picked up over Amazon Prime Day. They are having a promotion where you can get like so many dollars off for books. So these were the three that I picked up. And so the first one is actually one my aunt recommended, and it is Beartown by Frederick Backman. And basically this is like in a tiny forest community that's really big on the hockey team, but then there is kind of like this like a violent attack on a like girl that is caused by the hockey team, and it kind of spirals out of control there. So I thought this one would be very interesting. Like I don't really want to know too much about this plot kind of going into it, but I think it's just kind of best to kind of experience as it is. But my aunt said she really liked this, so I'm very curious to see how I feel about it. And I think that like small town like culture and like kind of all that will be very interesting, and kind of those themes, seeing them explored in here, I think will be really interesting. This is also one that I am really excited about, and it is a new series by Robert Dugoni, who wrote the Tracy Crosswhite series, which I really enjoy, and this one is the Eighth Sister, and it follows a former FBI or CIA agent who now goes undercover in Moscow to find a Russian spy. And I don't really want to know too much about this one as well. It's kind of a thriller spy novel, which I haven't really read yet. Like, I don't think I've ever read like a spy-based thriller, so I'm really excited for this one. I do really love the Tracy Crosswhite series, so I'm very interested to see how this one kind of takes place. I feel like the espionage and spy games and like all that stuff will be really interesting, and I feel like this is going to be a really fun read, and like the Russia setting will be also interesting as well. And finally, this is a book that I am super excited about, and it is Where the Crawdad Sings by Delia Owens. I've seen this book everywhere and I have heard great things about it, so I'm really excited to pick this one up. I feel like in order to give a good like summary of this, I'll just kind of read the inside cover because I feel like I won't do a good job at explaining it. But it says, for years rumors of the Marsh Girl have haunted Barkley Cove, a quiet town on North Carolina coast. So in late 1969, when handsome Chase Andrews is found dead, the locals immediately suspect Kaya Clark, the so-called Marsh Girl, but Kaya is not what they say. Sensitive and intelligent, she has survived for years alone in the marsh that she calls home, finding friends in the gulls and lessons in the sand. Then the time comes when she yearns to be touched in love. When two young men from town become intrigued by her wild beauty, Kaya finds herself on a new life until the unthinkable happens. So I think this one will be really interesting. Like I said, I've heard great things about this, and I feel like it will be an intriguing read. So if you guys have read this, I'm curious to know what you guys think about it, because I've seen this book everywhere, and like I said, overall it's generally a really positively reviewed book, so I'm excited for this one. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what some of your favorite new releases were this season and all of that fun stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.